Good morning, everyone. This is September 8th, 2017. I'm making this video this morning to talk about the dire circumstances going on in the planet right now with the fires, the hurricanes, the earthquakes, all that seems to be hitting us right now. This comes, of course, as no surprise to many of us because we have known these things were setting up on many playing fields. If you will recall, I made a video some months ago in which I spoke about a friend of a friend who worked for the geological officials receiving an official letter, which my friend saw, stating that if they had any family and loved ones on the West Coast, for them to tell them to leave permanently, leave the states on the West Coast, because they were saying it was almost a sure thing there was going to be this gigantic earthquake, really big enough to destroy, to literally topple parts of the coastline into the ocean. And so I took this to my inner planes mentor Thoth, and he said, well, that is definitely a possibility, but the beings that are helping us, let's call them the Earth Guardians, okay? For some, we can use that term, because I don't really know what else to call them right now, that they are working diligently with us to diffuse that. But we need to understand that the latter days are upon us and that the earth is breaking down as we know it so that it can become of another substance, so to speak. And we will be moving into our planetary modality that he calls the Pyramidus Radius Matrix as a platform before we go into full ascension into the New Earth Star. And all of these things are names and, that he's giving us to try to comprehend what's going on. So they fall short. There's no question about that. But it's the best, at least that I can do in my translations with those, to give some kind of a format for what's going on here. However, that said, we do not have to experience the worst of it. We can have an easier transition, and those of us who choose the higher realities can be more easily moved into that space, which is the Pyramidus Radius Matrix. And we will literally live in another world, and we haven't even ascended yet, from what's going on, having to go on in the breaking down of the formal structure of this level of Earth reality. And all of this is taking place because humanity has chosen this path instead of a more graceful path. So all of that said, they still said that during this period of time, they felt they could possibly divert the most major situations from occurring, but only if we help them. In other words, our energies are paramount in this process. They also gave a date to me, or Thoth did, of August 8th, and that date was when I don't know if it's the astrological associations, the solar associations, all of these things would be in place for them to begin the process. So they couldn't even begin the process until August 8th. So all that is happening now, that's very scary, is only the tip of the iceberg. And hopefully they can keep the iceberg from breaking forth in such an extreme way that it causes even more chaos. And you see, their bottom line is what they are hoping to see with us, is that those of us who are truly focusing on light and spirituality in this whole drama can find the resonance we need to help keep the platform of this spiritual consciousness together while things break down around us. And if it moves too quickly and too severely, that's going to be very, very difficult for us to do. So their desire is not to try to stop all of this, because that's not a part of the plan. And they work with a part of the divine plan. And we have put this divine plan into motion. But they're attempting to help us subvert the most extreme aspects of it, at least for now, until we can get our solid core together. See, that's really what it's all about from their perspective. So I would like to say that we can just stop all of this, and these poor people are having to go through all that they're going through to get out of Florida and in Montana and all other in other countries, and all that's going on. It's so, sad. But much of that is going to happen. And yet, we need to focus on what we can help. And certainly we can pray for all of those people and the individuals that we know that are in harm's way. And that those prayers will not be wasted by any means. But the bigger picture is where we need to put most of our focus right now. And that is helping them help us to maintain a stable enough platform so that we can hold the frequencies that are needed to be held while all else succumbs to the natural forces of events. It was also stated by the geological people to this woman in the formal letter that my friend saw, that the first quakes would begin, or well, not begin, but Mexico would have the first signs of what was going to happen on the West Coast. And of course, we heard last night that they had that humongous 8-point-something earthquake off the coast of Mexico. So it is falling into place as the geological people said it would. But that doesn't mean that it is going to happen to that extreme. Again, we have to focus on the greater picture and what we can do to help the Earth Guardians to help us. So what can we do? We can be aware. We can hold to the greater picture and understand what that greater picture is. We can't know it all. I certainly don't know it all. But what I've been shown and what you're individually intuiting, and not get stuck in the, oh my God, this is horrible. Last night I hardly slept because I was going, oh my God, this is horrible, and I knew I was doing planet a disservice by being in that modality. So I worked very diligently to rise above it. And I feel that I have to an extent, but we're only human, and this is our planet, and this is the latter days. So we are going through our own inner processes around this. But at the same time, we have to rally. We need to rally around the heartstone, the central hearth of our beingness and what we share together on this planet, this very sacred planet. And it's not disappearing, it's merely changing form. And we will be changing form with it. And I'm not talking about what we call physical death, some of us, yes, but I'm speaking about taking the whole platform to a higher vibration. I want to keep this video short because most people don't have time to listen to long videos, especially right now, while they may be themselves in harm's way. So I'm not going to go on much further with it, but holding that awareness, holding that focus, and sending your prayers, that is your spiritual energy, into keeping the platform together, that we are using to create the new spectrum, the new reality. And what that will do will help the planet not have to go through such intense breakdown. It can be a more easeful process and give people time to find their center, time to move their consciousness into what Thoth is calling, well, actually, he gave it a much larger name and I couldn't pronounce it, so he gave the simpler term pyramidus radius matrix. And this is our shield, our protective envelope, and our place of working to create the energetic focus that we will need for the ascension, that another term that's just being used so we can sort of understand it, into the new Earth star consciousness. It's not a whole new planet, it's the Earth, but the new Earth. And so all of you, I send you my love and prayers. And for now, I'm going to conclude this video. I believe I may be making a sort of an activational video, something you can use to kind of follow the sequencing of all of this. But you know that you may not need it, but I'm going to make it anyway, if not only for myself, because I need some of that stability to focus on as well. So again, love to you all.